Hey guys, this is me, immediately after watching the movie that we're going to talk about today. Hi, welcome to the Android Watched. Today, this week, we're going to talk about The Last Airbender. I tortured myself watching this movie. And I got through all of it. The entire movie feels like a bad stage play. I'm going to try to get through this as quickly as possible. And I'm guessing it's somehow going to still end up being over 20 minutes long. So, here we go. Let's start off with the things that the movie does good. There's only one good thing in this entire movie, and that's Yue. And they still somehow fucked that up. Just gonna go ahead and say that, because, first of all, the actress that played Princess Yue in the movie also voices Asami in The Legend of Korra. That's just a fun fact that I know. She's also cute. I say that in my girlfriend's dorm. And now on to the bad things, which there's a massive treasure trove of bad things, but here we go. Basically, the entirety of the movie is just terrible. Like I said, everything is said like it's in a stage play. The names are all pronounced wrong. There's certain key elements in the movie that are also pronounced wrong. Specifically Agni Kai, which they pronounced it Agni Ki. What the fuck? Like, here's some of the shit that they just say in the entire movie that they just say wrong.
The Avatar, Soka.
Zero.
Agni Ki duel.
And I watched it all the way through. Starting off with Sokka and Katara, the two characters that we have met in the original show from the beginning, and they continue it with them. And seeing that I have my braids in wolf tail, Sokka was obviously my favorite character in the Avatar: The Last Airbender TV series. I loved Sokka. He was my boy. And I also had a crush on Katara, so we're not going to talk about that, but who cares? They start off, Katara doing her waterbending tricks. In the movie, she's practicing, but in the show, she's practicing by holding a fish to get dinner and all that shit, but who cares? The movie, the effects are okay, I guess. They're not the best. Like the scene where Katara is grabbing water and, doing her bending shit, and, the water starts off and it's going through, and, the camera's focusing on the water. The water should not retain shape in size, losing that much water, because, no. It's like a whole ass bucket of water that spilled out of that big ass sphere. And then they tried to put comedy in there by dropping it on Sokka. This movie is completely devoid of comedy. Every single joke, every single thing that they say, completely devoid of comedy. It's really sad. Not only that, but it's also dormant of colors. Like, all the colors are completely muted. And God, I fucking hate this movie. The movie feels very rushed. A lot of the scenes seem like they've been cut short, and a lot of, the acting and all that stuff just seems like there should be more in this scene, but it just cuts to the next one, because they really tried to jam, 26 episodes into an hour and 43 minutes. Yes, I took a screenshot in my brain of the runtime of this stupid-ass movie. General Zhao. My other favorite fun fact, the guy that plays General Zhao also plays Peter's boss for the pizza place in Spider-Man 2.
Cool!
That guy. And I'm proud to know that information. Zhao They did a good, M. Night Shyamalan did a really good job of making Zhao just a shitty, unlikable person. Granted, he does that with every character, because there are scenes where Zhao will be like, this is right before they invade the Water Tribe. Zhao talks to Iroh, and he's like, it's lovely to have you on board, because this is after Zuko got hit by that giant explosion and all of that stuff. So he's like, it's good to have you in this battle, General Iroh. Thank you for accepting my invitation. And Iroh's like, yeah, cool, yep. And then Iroh's like, you are an excellent strategist. Your failure to take over the Earth Kingdom will not be held against you. And I was just sitting there like, you fucking dick. And then Iroh was like, thank you. And then Iroh, to rub salt in the wound, Zhao was like, yeah, your son died in that war, didn't he? And Iroh was like, yes, he did. Thanks for reminding me about my dead fucking son. Zhao was like, yep. Oh, my condolences for burning your nephew alive in that explosion, by the way. And Iroh was just like, what the fuck? Thank you. Fucking asshole. There's a weird thing in this movie, because all of the heroes are whitewashed, but all of the villains are like my skin color. M. Night, you got something to say? Even though you are also my color, except a little darker. I've been dreading this review. I hope you all know that. I have been dreading this review since I thought about it. If you guys know, the last time I watched this movie was in Stevens Point with a couple of other friends of mine. So, yeah. And I just recently watched it literally before recording this video. So, the whole situation happens, Sokka and Katara find Aang in the iceberg. They take him back to the village. Obviously, Sokka is a little bit skeptical, but not as much as he was in the show. In the show, Sokka was just like, fuck that motherfucker. Go with the Fire Nation. Die. Do some shit that I don't even fucking... Just leave us out of it. And piss the fuck off. Cool? Great. Sokka in the show was just a dick until, later in this first season. Zuko comes to the nation because he saw the beacon of light and he knew the southern water tribe was nearby, so he was like, bet. And he kidnaps Aang. And that's the end of episode 1, 2, and 3. Zuko and Iroh have them on the ship. Now there's a very stupid plot point where they have a test whenever they find the Avatar, and they basically put out 3 of the 4 elements, which they did this to the air nomads, I'm guessing. I don't know if they did it to the water nomads, the water tribe, or the earthbenders, or the Fire Nation. I don't know if they did that. And yet Iroh puts out a candle, water, and a rock. So what he does with the candle is the candle magnetically clings to Aang. It's just it reaches for Aang, and I'm just like, it's not how fire works, but whatever. And then he pours out a small puddle of water, and it goes into a perfect circle. Perfect-ish, because there's water splatters off to the side, but whatever. That's just how water acts, I guess. And then the boulder, which is the dumbest effect that I've ever seen, he puts it down sideways and it goes turned straight up. It looks so stupid. Basically, Zuko tells Aang that he's his prisoner, blah, blah, blah. And Aang ain't with that shit. And he escapes. Simple as that. And then here's one of the main scenes that they feel like it's cut short. Aang gets on Appa. Katara and Sokka are right next to them, are with him, and Aang's like, "Yo, the Fire Nation are too powerful. I need to defeat them. I'm gonna go and learn the 4 elements." And Sokka and Katara are like, "We're coming with you." And Aang's like, "I could take you back to the village because this shit is my problem and not yours." And Katara's like, "We're coming with you." And the scene just ends there. It cuts to the Fire Nation ship, and Aang and Katara and Sokka are flying away on Appa. That's the end of the fucking scene. These scenes are incomplete! Flash forward later into the movie, we get to Aang, Katara, and Sokka in the Earth Kingdom. Well, in the grassy field, but whatever. And this is where, like, the comedy of the show kind of shines through just a teeny bit, because it did earlier when Sokka was, you know, checking out Appa and Appa's tail. That got no laughs out of me. However, this did. This one actually got a genuine laugh out of me. There's a scene of Fire Nation soldiers running towards the gang after a little earthbending kid runs and hides behind the gang, and the Fire Nation is like,
that child is being arrested.
For what?
He was bending tiny stones at us from behind a tree. It really hurt.
That was the only scene that got a genuine laugh out of me. They get into the giant earthbending prison that is surrounded in above rocks. The way they get captured and the way they're in prison makes no fucking sense to me at fucking all. It's so stupid. They are on top of rocks and there's a giant mountain right behind them. Why don't they just take out all the firebenders like that? At least in the show they had a good explanation. Like, they had a metal ship that the earthbenders were on. And they didn't even know that the ship was empowered by coal. Anyways, the earthbenders defeat the Fire Nation. And there's a lot of funny moments in this scene where, you know, earthbenders are fighting the Fire Nation with the worst possible choreography I've ever seen in a movie ever. There's like a group of 6 dudes all doing the synchronized dance to lift the tiniest boulder across the scene very, very slowly. And then there's one last dude that's just like doing his like, he just so stupid. I'm gonna tell you guys now, I tried to watch this movie and tried to not like let my love for the TV series infiltrate my opinion on this movie, but it doesn't matter if you've watched this movie before. It doesn't matter if you've watched the TV show before the movie or the movie before the TV show. The movie is still just a train wreck. It sucks. It sucks so fucking bad. The gang goes on a spree of saving villages over and over, taking out the Fire Nation, saving another village. One time they get to Kyoshi Island. No Kyoshi warriors for some reason. So no foreshadowing Suki, which I don't know how they were going to do that in the next 2 movies after sequel baiting us, but we'll get back to that later. Aang gets a vision about, you know, the Northern Air Temple, and he goes there. And there's been an old man that's been living in poverty ever since Avatar Roku disappeared. Nothing changed about Roku, by the way, except that he doesn't show up in spirit form. Only his fucking dragon does, which I guess they just M. Night Shyamalan really just said, alright, Roku, his dragon, mix. Like, that's it. Anyways, Roku's dragon is there for basically dumb expository bullshit. This entire movie could be summed up just by saying a movie about exposition. That's it. All throughout narration from Katara, all throughout narration from different, not narration, but like dialogue that was just really choppy, blocky, and gross from, you know, Fire Nation soldiers, General Zhao, Zuko. It's garbage. It's real garbage. In the show, they do they let it be known that Zuko is a good fighter. He's just terrible at bending, you know, and they make it obvious by that. But then there's that scene where Zhao invites Zuko to dinner, obviously trying to invoke the tea scene that, you know, Zhao invites Zuko and Iroh to. Yeah, Zhao in this entire movie, I constantly have to say, the pettiest bastard in the entire fucking movie. He's so petty for no reason at all. First of all, he has this whole big speech prepared for his men, his soldiers, about Prince Zuko, and the soldiers don't even like cheer, they don't clap, they don't do shit. They're all just frozen in fear because they're just like, is this motherfucker really exposing the prince like this? Like, Zhao, this motherfucker, do you not see the fireball rolling up to your face right there? Zhao, my boy, stop talking. Zhao somehow discovers that Aang goes to the Northern Air Temple. Nobody explains it. They just know. They just fucking know. And Zhao pays a man in poverty that I told you about for the Northern Air Temple. He pays the man to lure the Avatar to that secret chamber with all the avatars and shit in it. And, you know, he's like, hey, I hope you forgive me, with a fucking shitty ass knife. He's like, I hope you forgive me for this. You seem like a nice kid. I lured you here. You're gonna get captured by the Fire Nation, and I need the money. Bye. I just want to know how the fucker knew that Aang was gonna be there. How the fuck did Zhao know that Aang was gonna be there? And then he kidnaps him, and obviously the Blue Spirit comes in. Now, if you haven't seen the show, spoilers for the show. That's like 22 now. Zuko is the Blue Spirit. I just want to know how the fuck did Zuko find out that Aang was going to be at that air temple, and Zhao was also going to be there and all that stuff. How does Zuko know? In the show, Zhao gloats to Zuko. He's like, hey, I kidnapped the Avatar. You're not going to get your honor, you little bitch. And he just fucking... That's that. Now, I don't have any reason to not believe that General Zhao didn't gloat to Zuko in the movie. However, there was a scene in the show that indicates this. Not in the movie. There's no scene that indicates shit in the movie. Nothing. Nothing in the fucking movie says, oh, hey, Zuko, I kidnapped the Avatar, and, yeah, you could just go ahead and not return to the Fire Nation because you're a failure, you little fucker. Zuko just knows that Aang is there, and he's just like, bet. I'm gonna put on my mask, get my 2 twin blades, and we're gonna go and do this shit. Let's go! And all that shit. And basically the Blue Spirit saves Aang, and gets knocked out by one of the arrows from that one archer group that's in the show that I forgot the names of. We're not gonna talk about it! Anyways, yeah, Zuko gets knocked out. Aang discovers that Zuko is the Blue Spirit and escape. Now, in the show, Aang does say to Zuko, like, hey, maybe we can be friends. And Zuko firebends him away. But in the movie, that scene doesn't happen. Aang just waits for Zuko to wake up, thinking that he's like, okay, maybe he is alive. And he just fucking escapes. And I sighed so fucking loud to this scene. I was just like, I couldn't take it. I couldn't take this movie. Anyways, Zhao discovered, like, okay, that's Prince Zuko. I know them luscious lips anyway. Aang and his followers are going to the Northern Water Tribe, because I somehow discovered that from my small conversation that I never had with the Avatar. I guess. Alright, I'm gonna go tell Zuko's daddy. This is one of the main things I hate. Because in the show, Fire Lord Ozai, God, I almost said Sozin. Fire Lord Ozai has not been shown until like season 3, the end of season 2 or something like that. He's only been shown up in shadow or with fires covering his face. In the movie, he looks like a fucking dork. No fucking disrespect to any of the actors in this movie. They just didn't know that they were ruining a franchise. Anyways, the Fire Lord looks like a dork. Just simple as that. He really looks like a dork. He doesn't look menacing at all. Neither does Azula. But, whatever. Now, Aang, Katara, and Sokka, and Appa, and Momo, they all get to the water tribe, the Northern Water Tribe. And the Northern Water Tribe is just like, cool, you're with us now. Great, you can protect us. Even though your presence here will alert the Fire Nation, and they're gonna come for us, and it's gonna be fucking chaos, and half the city's gonna fucking explode. Okay? Cool. Fucking dicks. And Princess Yue's hair looks like a dick. Just wanted to say that. Aang and Katara become masters within like weeks. And the Fire Nation shows up. They have this big ass battle. Now obviously in the show they have the same plan to find the ocean and moon spirits and kill one of them, just to give the water tribe a disadvantage. And Iroh is just like, yo, Zhao, don't do that shit, because the world will be imbalanced without one of the spirits. And Zhao is just like, okay. Kidnaps fish and stabs it. Now, here's the crazy part. All throughout the movie, the firebenders had to have a physical source of fire to bend. Because reasons. I guess M. Night Shyamalan was like, okay, that's an unfair disadvantage, unless, firebenders are fighting airbenders. But if they're fighting the earthbenders and the waterbenders, there's a disadvantage, because earth and water are everywhere. Whoa. He makes them bend physical sources of fire, which is so stupid. It's so shitty. However, Iroh is... the character that Iroh is in the movie is like... it's not a dead ringer for the Iroh in the show. Because, like, the character in the movie is taller and, like, skinnier. He's not short and fat like the cartoonish Iroh that we fucking love. He doesn't look like him, unfortunately. However, he does act like him, which I guess that's okay. Except his accent is weird. Sounds like New Zealand, but it also drops halfway through the movie. Zhao kills the fish, and Iroh starts to bend fire out of nothing, which is how it should be, but who cares? The Fire Nation soldiers in the movie are... they come off as two things. Cowardice, stupid. Simple as that. Like, there are so many scenes where the Fire Nation soldiers are just fucking idiots. Like, they don't know what the fuck they're doing. They're confused as to what they're doing, and they don't know how to fight. They're just stupid. Ugh. Iroh talks to Yue, basically convincing her to kill herself to save the moon spirit, and Yue is just like, okay, and she takes out the fish and dies, and Sokka cries. The moon comes back, and that's the part where I had a mental breakdown on the last video.
He decided M. Night Shyamalan. I think M. Night Shyamalan just hates people. Why is Iroh getting her? That was funny, but I was just distracted immediately by something else. Like,
Oh, your girl's gone.
This movie is so fucking terrible.
did you not see the scene where they're all looking at the moon and one guy just sounds like a... Oh my god. Are you gonna be okay?
I think I'm in that state between laughing and crying.
What the fuck is this?
This is why, Go!
Wait,
That was kind of fun. He's like, I'm gonna take my
Why
check
is this
off.
movie so terrible? Yeah. Aang shows, Noah Ringer shows off his martial arts skills again. Zhao is horrifically murdered by 4 waterbenders, which is something way too gruesome for a kid's movie. And, Aang shows the Fire Nation the power of water. Also, Aang goes to Roku's dragon for so many ex machina, like, he goes to Roku's dragon just to see. Roku's just like, do that. Do that so I can go back to sleep, you dick. Aang goes Avatar state and doesn't do the Koizilla. He just does a giant waterfall. A giant wave, I mean. And the firebenders retreat. Well, the ones that are on the ships, at least. They retreat. Anyways, after all of that, Aang comes back in. Katara and Sakura are like, they want you to be our avatar. And so do we. And they go down, bow for him, which is completely out of character. Sokka and Katara would never bow for Aang. You know, unless it was jokingly. But whatever. Here's another plot point that I just don't like. The Fire Nation soldiers are basically Nazis. So why the hell did they turn on the Fire Nation that fast and start bowing to the Avatar? They're supposed to be up there being like, hey, you're coming with us, because there's plenty of us and, like, one of you. So get your little ass on. And, yeah. Aang bows back. Because that was the thing that happened in the... When he first discovered that he was the Avatar, he didn't bow back after everybody bowed, which is... whatever. Yeah, whatever. Anyways, then there's that last scene where Fire Lord Ozai is talking to Azula, and he's like, alright, your brother's a failure, your uncle's a traitor, and Zhao's fucking dead, so I'm gonna need you to be the next villain for the next movie. Cool? Cool. And that's the end of the fucking movie. There's only one way that I can say that this movie is redeemable. Okay? And that is, this movie is a live-action Emerald Island Players production. Okay? That's all I can say. That's the only way I can watch this movie and be like, okay, yeah, I can see what that is. Because there's a lot of unintentionally funny and goofy moments in the entire movie that I genuinely laughed at because I was like, this is just, it looks so stupid. It's genuinely super stupid. I remember when I was a kid and I first watched this for the first time, I was just excited at the fact that there was an Avatar The Last Airbender movie. Like, I remember being so fucking excited, watching the trailer, watching all of that stuff, and being like, dude, this fucking rocks. We're getting an Avatar The Last Airbender movie. I remember saying it right before the trailer came on. I was like, dude, I wish there was the last Airbender movie. And bam, my wish was granted. The commercial came on, and I was like, oh, yes! Yeah. What a fool I was. Because after watching it like 4 times in my entire lifetime, I realized this movie fucking sucks. This movie is garbage. Yeah. Anyways, I forgot to rate Morbius last time. Morbius gets 3 dings out of 10. And The Last Airbender gets 0 dings out of 10. Fuck this movie. Anyways, thanks for watching this video. Let me know what you guys want to watch next in the comments. Yeah. Good or bad movies. I'll watch good or bad movies, so that's that. Anyways. See you guys in a bit.